Alright, it's been a while since I made a video pertaining to conspiracy theory fandom, or whatever you want to call the conspiracy theory social network of people who really have too much time on their hands. And something I've noticed, I don't want to talk about any specific conspiracy theory, but I do want to talk about something that I've noticed seems to be a commonality across the entire conspiracy theorist, oeuvre. The entire, spectrum, I believe, conspiracies, no matter what they're into. Whether they're Sandy Hook truthers or Apollo 11 truthers or 9/11, whatever, what have you. They all seem to have the exact same problem wrapping their minds around this thing called a burden of proof. Now, a burden of proof is a legal term, and it's pretty simple to explain. Basically, it just means that for you to accept something as true, you have to have a certain established amount of evidence. And if you have this evidence, well, then you're more than willing to believe that something is true. Now, here's the problem with conspiracy theorists. They don't seem to actually have a burden of proof. They don't list things that they need to hear from you in order to disconfirm their own belief in conspiracy theory. Now, I'll give you an example of what I mean. For me to believe a conspiracy theory, or really actually any facet of knowledge someone gives me, there are generally three pieces of evidence that I need to establish them as being true. Number one, I need to have an authorized written document from the government or the agency in question or whoever is supposedly behind a conspiracy theorist actually going out there and saying that yes, they are indeed behind it, that they did something, this is true. And this is why I believe things like MKUltra and COINTELPRO and Operation Northwoods, because we actually do have a paper trail that has been authorized with official documents. So I'm inclined to believe that the government actually did this because we actually have official verified documentation saying they did it. Okay, as far as the other evidence that I need, if you have any sort of legally binding statements, this is sworn court testimony, my apologies, a police report, a legally signed affidavit, any of these things that are presented in court that are cleared by a judge, then I might give it a little benefit of the doubt. If a guy goes in, he's an official government agent, and he says, yes, I played a part in this, I did this, and he's under oath, then I'm more or less inclined to believe him. Now, of course, people do lie in a courtroom, but by and large, if you actually have verified, police records from the FBI, what have you, and it goes through the legal system, then I'm more inclined to believe that it happened than if it's just some guy on the internet saying aliens control NASA or something like that, whatever. Pick a random thing. And lastly, the other thing that I take in as evidence as a burden of proof is a leaked, official, verified internal memo. So if there is something that gets out there that has been leaked, that's not classified, that really was not meant to go out to the public like a memo, and I guess probably the best possible explanation or the best example of that would be WikiLeaks, then I can prove it because they're really upset about that data getting breached. And it's verified, we know it's from the government, and it's not publicized, therefore I'm inclined to believe it's true. So here's the thing, if you present me a conspiracy theory, whatever it is, and you can provide me with at least one substantial piece of evidence from one of those three sources, then you know what? I'll actually believe you. I will say, you know what? You're probably true. It's not a conspiracy theory, it is a conspiracy fact. So that's called a burden of proof. You have to have that. Now, what I've noticed is when you try to discredit or disconfirm conspiracy theorists, there is no amount of evidence you can provide them to change their mind. In fact, they don't actually have any burden of proof. There is no amount of evidence, there is no official source you can show them to actually disconfirm their ideas. So here's the thing. The next time you are confronted by a conspiracy theorist, or if you are a conspiracy theorist, before you go around spouting your nonsense, just think for a moment. What amount of information and from what source would I need to discredit this conspiracy belief of mine? What would it take? What evidence? What would I need to hear from someone or see from someone to not believe in this anymore? Simply put, if you don't have that, if you can't list some criteria like I did, then there's no way to criticize your own concept. That's not scientific. Scientific method means you go out and you try to disconfirm your hypothesis. What you're doing is building a tautology, which means no matter what, you're right, there is no amount of evidence. The government is an incredible source, science is an incredible source, public journals is an incredible source, so you get caught up in this cycle where you're automatically right just by the fact that you don't actually consider anything else as evidence. So anyway, just throwing that out there, I seem to see this all the time, and until you address it, then I really can't give your argument any credence. So, moving along, the next time you present something, please come forward with established evidence you would need to disconfirm it, or else you're just being a knucklehead, which I'm afraid is most of you.